Hello, I'm Blunty. So, what do you think of the low poly Anthro bat model here? I wasn't going to bother rigging it up for use as a VR avatar. The intent was to use it purely as a practice model for a certain type of bone rigging, and then practice some basics of animation inside Blender's animation workflow, which I'm still bouncing off of a bit. The UI is not friendly for that kind of stuff. I hear there's a big overhaul coming to the animation stuff for Blender though, which also makes it hard to commit to spending much effort learning the existing system until I know what and how much is changing in the new system. And the depressive episode I'm going through is making it just real hard to summon enough energy and focus for something that needs as much time as attention as animating by hand, as much as I want to learn that and do that and use it for wonderful creative things that I have ideas and plans for. So now it's this. I rigged it up in like 5 minutes for use in VR, and I guess it helps to see how it moves a little bit. The wings especially. The wings are tricky to rig up. There's a special kind of weight painting and bones, and I don't think I've quite nailed it, because when I put my arms on the side, they kind of point out a bit. Have to fix that, I suppose. But this is based on a low poly dog model I smashed together about a week and a half ago while watching a furry streamer I like, which I then refined the model and rejiggered it a bit and rigged it to make it into a deliberately generic blue dog thing. For some reason, I've never been able to figure out blue dogs specifically. Seems to be like the default for furries. So I found that kind of funny to make a deliberately generic blue dog furry low poly guy. But I slapped on some pre-made animations to those first couple of versions, and I kind of liked how it moved and looked and everything in the low poly style. So then I tried to smoosh it up and give it some wings and make it more like my purple bat avatars. Like smooshed in the snout and stuff and gave it the glasses and made the ears a bit different and changed the hair and that kind of stuff. I keep making different versions of the same base character to practice and experiment with modeling styles to find something I want to stick with for a thematic choice for some short animations I want to make. And when I've built up enough skills and the depression isn't crushing my every thought and intent under the gravitational force of Jupiter's searing heart, I might actually get somewhere. Anyways, like I said, experimenting. Let me know what you think. But the point of telling you about that little journey is to frame up the point of this video. And some people with short attention spans got really pissy at me when I made a similar video a while back and I was talking about the journey of a particular style of avatar, and they're all, just get to the point. That is part of the point. Please just stick with me. I'm just trying to build a story here. This isn't TikTok, this is YouTube. Sometimes it takes a while to build to something. Just let me have that, please. If you don't have the attention span for this type of video, that's fine, that's you, but don't whine at me about it, please. It is so disheartening and is so crushing, especially when I feel like I do now. So if you don't want to listen to a story being told in the style that I tell them in, you're free to go. But please don't be a shithead about it. I don't have enough spoons for that right now. So right, experimenting, trying out some styles. When I made the koala model, I sketched the reference turnaround, or the front and the side view, not really a proper turnaround, I suppose. I did it in pen, because I couldn't find a pencil, which annoyed me. I had pencils, I'm sure of it. Where did they go? I don't know. Bit frustrating when you go looking for a pencil, you can't even find a simple pencil. But today, I had to go out. And I mean, had to. I really, really didn't want to. I don't feel like going out into the world right now. It's too hard, but I had to. I'm so exhausted all the time. I'm tired all the time. I'm napping more than half of every day away recently, and even when I'm awake between those naps, I barely function because I never actually feel rested. That's all a gift of depression, and those of you who have been through, the medical depression, like we spoke a bit about on the last video, very, very different from just feeling a bit sad, proper medical depression. It just drains you of everything. But I had no choice to go out today. I really, really didn't want to, but no choice. So on the way back from the thing I had to do, I dropped into a large office supply store. It was on the way between where I had to be and where the bus stop was that I needed to get on. And I went in intending just to get a pencil for sketching, for the character designs, for the 3D modeling and the stuff I want to play around with, because I don't like sketching in pen like I did for the koala. The tactility of pencil on paper is a small joy to me. It always has been. Drawing in pen or even felt tip markers just doesn't feel right. It's the wrong texture. It's got nothing to do with how easy pencil is to erase or anything like that. It's just the feel of it is wrong. And whenever I am drawing in pen or felt tip, a large portion of my brain is just humming away saying, I wish I had a pencil to do this because this doesn't feel right. That's probably or definitely an autism thing, really. I've always been extremely sensitive to touch. I've always been very, very tactile. I've always dragged my fingertips lightly across the surface of any brick wall I walk past because of the sheer pleasure of that texture. Some people with autism are the exact opposite. They really just, it's just so many textures just they can't deal with. But I touch things and stroke things. But I'm standing in front of the pencils, right? I'm standing in front of the pencils in the store. There's a small wall of them, like 1.5 meters wide and, 1.5 meters tall. Just a big block of all different kinds of pencils. Everything from dirt basic HBs to those lovely mechanical ones. And not the mechanical ones with the super thin leads in them. We used to call them Pacers. Do people still call them Pacers in school? But Pacers was a brand of these mechanical pens. It stuck as a catch-all descriptor, like all kinds of facial tissues get called Kleenex, or adhesive medical strips get called Band-Aids. It's just one of those things. They were the Pacers. But not those, not the Pacers. I don't like those. You can't get any line width variation with them. They're not good for sketching. They're fine for writing or whatever, but they're too harsh. They are too mechanical, too consistent. I like the ones that are sometimes called clutch pencils. They use much thicker leads. They don't click to advance to a predestined length dispensary as you use it up. It has little jaws instead that hold the thicker lead, and you sharpen the tip a bit like a traditional pencil. Some of them just sort of have a little screw clamp. Some of them have a little clicker on top that sort of help the lead drop out and stuff like that. I like those ones. Most have a little sharpener on the end for the you pull off the little end cap and you sharpen the tip of the thing. Sometimes you just have to have a little bit of sandpaper or glass paper or something to sharpen the tip to the kind of point you like. I like those ones. I used to have a really nice one years ago. It was a gift. I loved it so much. It was made from titanium. It had perfect balance and feel. Titanium is one of those metals that just feels really, really good. I used to have a ring made out of titanium as well. I love titanium. But all of these mechanical pens the store had were too expensive, like 20 or 30 bucks. I can't afford to spend that on a pencil right now. I'm struggling right now. I can't justify that. So ordinary pencils it was, I guess. It's fine. They're pencils are pencils. They do the pencil thing. But there were dozens to choose from. You could just get one pencil, or packs of 2 or 3 of the same or different hardnesses, a pack of 3 that were all 2B, or a pack of 3 that different ones. I know generally I like to draw with a 2B, or maybe even a 4B sometimes, depending on how I'm drawing. But which options do I pick? Seems like a simple choice, right? It's just a pencil, and it's just for sketches, things that no one else will ever even see. It doesn't have to be great, just useful. It just has to be a pencil that does pencil things. So just grab one and go. Just go home, back where it's quiet and dark and you can relax. But which one, though? That one there seems fine, but it's $6, and that seems a lot for a bit of wood with some carbon stuck inside it. That one there, that's $3, cheap and nasty, though. Look at it. What if it doesn't feel right when you use it? What if the texture's wrong? You'll be annoyed that you didn't get the $6 one from the brand you've used before that you know you like. Oh, but you can just get the 3-pack. HB2B2H, flexible choice. You've got to, surely one of those will feel right for you, but you don't need 3 different choices for basic sketches. You just need a basic pencil. But what if you want to make something with a better finish later? What if you start sketching and you find out it's something you want to finish up into a better drawing, not just sort of model sketches you're going to use for reference? Probably better to have a choice then, isn't it? But that's also $12 on 3 pencils for a hobby. You're struggling to pay your bills right now. Best not to pay that. But you need something. This is one of the few things you are doing right now to keep yourself from completely shutting down. Just get something, choose something, pick a pencil, just pick one. God damn it! I left with nothing. Decision paralysis, sometimes called analysis paralysis or choice paralysis. It falls under a larger umbrella term of executive dysfunction, and it's something a lot of neurodivergent folk deal with. It's not uncommon in ADHD and autistic people especially, and I've been actively frustrated by it my whole damn life, long before I knew it had a name, or what the hell it was, or that other people didn't experience it nearly as often as I do, or at all for some people, and that I wasn't alone. And before I was diagnosed, it was just something that locked me up, and I was screamingly frustrated by it. I never understood it, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Getting locked up in your head for no reason on the simplest of goddamn choices for no good reason. It's a full and complete misery. Why can't I just pick a pencil? And out of all the weird little quirks of autism that I exhibit, it's one of the hardest to get normal people to understand. They just don't have any idea what it's like. I'm sure everyone has trouble making choices every now and again. We're human after all. But, deciding on what you want. What do you want for dinner? Oh, I don't know. What do you feel like for dinner? I'm not sure what I feel like for dinner. Pizza, burgers, spaghetti? I don't know. Maybe a nice salad. But it's not the same as that. That's not what we're going through. And the trouble is, that's the only touch point that regular people have. That kind of, can't decide what I want for dinner. That kind of choice lock-up. So they think it's just a bit of trouble making up your mind between a choice or two. You can't sort of weigh up the pros and cons. But it's not that. It's complete lockup of the process of being able to make a decision at all. It's not a matter of a difficult choice between two or three options. It's that the engine that drives the systems for making choices just breaks down. It's not the choice that's hard. It's the process itself of processing choices. If the chain falls off your bike, you don't say, oh, I'm having more trouble than usual pedaling my bike. Oh, well, I guess I'll just pedal harder and push through it. It'll be fine. You can pedal as hard as you like, but if the sodding chain fell off, it won't make a difference. You're still not going to go anywhere, and you will fall off the whole damn bike because you need movement on a bike. You need the wheels to turn and the forward motion because the physics of that is what keeps you upright. The centripetal force generated by the spinning wheels and all that keeps you upright on the damn bike in the first place. That's how it works. But if your chain is broken, if your chain has fallen off, you can pedal as fast as you like, as hard as you like, but if you don't have the chain on, nothing else works. The wheels don't turn, the bike doesn't move, there is no centripetal force generated, and you're going to fall off. And that is the closest I have ever gotten to a metaphor that can explain in terms an average neurotypical person can possibly understand of what a failure in executive function feels like and does to you. And it happens to people like me, to autistic people, so often because so much of what we do requires active shunting through that mechanism, through the bike chain. Our brains do so much more active work than neurotypicals do. A lot less of how we work is done on automatic as background processes that we don't even think about. We manually process and sort a lot more of our sensory input from the world. We use our bike chains a lot more, I guess, to stretch the metaphor. We make a lot more decisions actively than normal folk tend to think about. So our bike chains get more wear and tear, and we notice more when they fail. And when I'm tired, when I'm exhausted, when I'm worn down, when my bipolar depression has drained me of almost everything that I have left to give, and when I'm forced into the world on an unavoidable errand, when I'm in a dense and noisy city with people going by and cars and lights and stores and music and voices and the wind and the harsh morning sun, and my clothes feel too rough and the soles of my shoes are wearing a bit thin so I can feel the bumps and lumps of the footpath, and why are my keys always sitting weird in my pocket? I can't stop thinking about their position in my pocket. As they sit in my pocket, I think about the cotton of the pocket lining pushes against my skin, and there's the smudge on the corner of my glasses in my peripheral vision over my right eye, but I don't have my lens cloth with me, so I'm going to have to just deal with that, and it's always sitting there and I'm always focusing on it. I can't ignore it. And why is the air conditioning in the store with the pencil set at such a disparate temperature than it is common for stores? It's so much colder in this store than it is in regular stores. And why are 3 staff members having a chat about their damn weekend so close to me? All I can think about is processing their conversation, the noise of that, the three-way conversation, they're talking over each other, and I feel crowded and claustrophobic. And why can't I just choose a single goddamn pencil? It's an easy choice. Pick a freaking pencil, please. Just pick a pencil so we can buy it and we can go home. All I want to do is have a pencil so I can draw stupid little characters in that sketchbook that I have at home that has the wonderful thick paper stock with the exact right surface roughness of the paper for the pencils to drag across and make that wonderful little feeling that travels up the pencil into your hand and the lovely little quiet noise it makes. I wish I could have just purchased a friggin' pencil. It's the dumbest, simplest task, and I couldn't even do it. I couldn't buy a pencil. One pencil, so I can do a thing that I enjoy. A few dollars to treat myself to the simplest of little tools that humanity has ever come up with. And I couldn't do it. And now I'm home. It's been 5 hours more, and I've had a nap since then. I'm still unable to stop thinking about standing there in that store that was too cold and too noisy, and my keys in my pocket, and the people chatting over there, standing in front of all those pencils and being so entirely locked up that I nearly screamed in frustration or broke down into tears or some combination of the two. It is so nightmarishly frustrating to live this way. And of all things, it was just about a pencil. It could have been about anything, but today it was about a pencil. And it seems so stupid and so silly and so ridiculous. And it's so upsetting that that made me feel so broken. So that's I guess a tiny slice of what autism does to me sometimes, and how the obsidian black, spirit-tearingly sharp, the horrific blade that is bipolar depression is when mixed up with the autism stuff. Because the depression just makes it so much harder, because it takes away my ability to even reach for the tools that I might use to cope with that sometimes. That choice paralysis doesn't always ruin me like this. Sometimes I have the ability to recognize it and to step aside from it and try and process it and just, move on. But sometimes I have days like this where I don't have enough me left to do anything with that, for that, about that, because of that. Even this, having a little rant here, trying to share something about myself and about autism to people who might not understand, or people who might relate to it and go, oh, hey, I know what that feels like. It's nice to hear someone else talking publicly about it. Whatever this means to you. If you did make it to the end of the video, thank you. How was your morning? Did you have a mental breakdown trying to buy a pencil? I really hope I can get back to making just regular videos that might be popular soon, because no one cares about this. But it's an outlet. It's what I've got. It's how this channel started, just as an outlet.